but he wants his team to be aggressive against Latvia.
And for 44-year-old Chris Chelios, who is making his 4th Olympic appearance, 3 times as a captain, he is captain here in Torino. His responsibility starts right now.
Well, it certainly does. You know, for Chelios, it's not a ceremonial role to be the captain. He's played very well this year in Detroit, and he's going to have to play very well as the leader of this American defense. Chelios said he learned from Herb Brooks how important the early preparation for a tournament was at the '02 Olympics. The Americans got off to a good start. They look to do so again today.
All right, John Graham of the Tampa Bay Lightning will start in goal for the U.S. Doc Emrick, John Davidson, and Pierre Maguire will have the call right after these messages. Enjoy the first period, everyone.
Along with John Davidson, I'm Mike Emrick. The mystery is over. Who will be the U.S. goaltender? It's John Graham.
And he deserves it. You know, Mike, he has been red hot since January 1st playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He gets the call. He played college hockey at Lake Superior State, born in Denver, Colorado, his dream coming true here in Italy for the Olympics. Now up front, they needed leadership, and you look to guys with experience. Mike Modano is the assistant captain for this hockey club. He's a Dallas Star, maybe the NHL this season's comeback player of the year. That's how good he's been, and they look to him to play well on the big ice. Artur Zerbe used to play in Carolina, led them to a Stanley Cup final. He is the starting goaltender, 39 years of age, just 2 weeks ago, 214 NHL wins, and his history shows that he can come up with upset wins.
First ever meeting between these two in the Olympic Games. Craig Conroy, Mike Knuble, and Jason Blake start for the United States with Matthew Schneider and Chris Chelios. The first play to make was that of Zerbe, and we get a stoppage of play on an icing. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. But for Peter Laviolette and the United States, the first impression has been rushed a little bit. They have decided that it was an errant call on the icing, and so they'll drop it again at center ice. Only 3 players from Team USA, John Graham, Jordan Leopold, and reserve Hal Gill, arrived in Torino on February 13th, Sunday, as they were supposed to. So everything has had to have been pulled together very quickly. You see Leonidas Berishnevs, the coach of Latvia.
See where he stands, Mike? In front of the players.
Remind you of
Not
anyone?
behind the players. Yes, Viktor Tikhonov, the famous coach of the former Soviet Union and Red Army team, stood in front. He could watch the game and then turn around and berate his players if he had to. So he doesn't stand behind the players, he's in front of them.
Give away to Scott Gomez, and an early save is made by Zerbe. Wide of John Graham. Taken around for Latvia. Leonid Tombievs loses. Brought back ahead now by John Michael Lyles. Defenseman for the Colorado Avalanche fed it away from Gomez, taken by Brian Giunta, his line mate in New Jersey. Scaled around now for Gomez. Chipped on back to him. Tries to swagger loose. It went by Giunta. Hatcher a shot. Deflected and steered on goal by Keith Tkachuk, but blocked off by Zerbe. Tkachuk fired it around. It spiked down by Gomez out of Anchorage, Alaska. Back for a centering pass. Giunta backhander. And that one flew wide.
A great shift for this unit of 5 for Team USA. Good speed, no butterflies, and they're rolling.
It is Hatcher scaling it back in. Moving back in, but wiping out is Eric Coles on the play. And so Latvia can bring it back on the attack. The last meeting in the World Championships, again, there has been no Olympic meeting, was May 3rd of last year. Mark Parrish of the United States got 2 third-period goals on Artur Zerbe in a 3-1 win, but they certainly had gotten a scare from Latvia up to them.
Now, Artur Zerbe had to make a big save early as Scott Gomez was in there. Zerbe had a little trouble handling the puck in behind the net. He goes back there, can't get it, gives it away. Now sees he better get back and makes a great leg save with Tkachuk in behind him as John Graham hangs onto a puck that was flipped his way.
How will the United States break up the coaching duties here?
Peter Laviolette, their head coach, is going to change the forwards and run the specialty teams. Keith Allain is on the bench. He's an assistant coach. He's going to scout the opposition and feed the other coaches. And on the far end, Mike Sullivan of the Boston Bruins, he's going to change the defense. So they have it very well organized. Team USA does at the bench.
Keith Elaine's last time with Team USA was at the '92 Olympics in Albertville in terms of Olympic competition. But you're right, they got energy from that line of Gianta Gomez and also Keith Tkachuk.
You're looking at Keith Elaine, whom you were talking about, Mike. He came here early to Italy to scout some of the other teams, including this Latvia club. Watch them play what they call a friendly, which means exhibition game against Italy. Put a DVD together and able to show the other coaches when they got here. And then if they wanted to show players anything about their style of play, there it was.
Ray Ferraro had mentioned with Bill Clement early that there had been some delays. A big drive by Irbe. The save came out from the blast by Chris Drury. And it was Keith Elaine who was telling us on Sunday, I had meetings planned for 3 o'clock this afternoon with 7 of my forwards, another right after that with another 6, and then another meeting with the defense. All of those meetings were canceled because he only had 3 players, and one of them was a reserve in Hal Gill.
So guess what they were doing today?
Meetings.
Meetings, yeah. And he told his players, the entire staff told their players, we've given you a lot of info today. Don't digest it just yet. Don't even think about it. Play. Get your legs and play. They feel, U.S. does, Team USA, that they have 4 lines, not a 1, 2, 3, 4, but 4 lines that are fairly even. And any one of those lines have the capability to have a big night.
John Michael Lyles tried to play that one ahead, but it's brought back along now by Igor Tsipras. Around behind for a play to be made again by Tsipras. Igor Tsipras had that one knocked away. We're going to get the first penalty call of the game. It comes from the referee Timo Favarin of Finland, and the call is a hold, and the United States will be short.
Blake stopped skating, went for the puck, and you see him reach out with his left arm. That's a call in this league. That's a call in the NHL. So we'll take a look at the Latvian power play and see what they try to do against the penalty killing unit. Perhaps John Graham will get some real bona fide action right now.
The left point man on the power play as Jason Blake sits is Sandis Ozolinsh, very familiar to NHL fans, especially when it comes to his shot on the power play. He's wearing uniform number 8. And it is Ozolinsh who brings it back ahead for Latvia, gaining the zone. It's swung back in deep. Semyonovs plays to the outside and then lost. A chance now for Team USA, brought back by Brian Ralston. Drive, and it went wide of Irbe in the cage.
Lively boards, you missed the net. Look where the puck came all the way down to Team USA's end zone. That was a 3-on-1 shorthanded. It tells you too, Mike. Team USA's not sitting back even when they kill penalties. Look at Ozolinsh. He's resetting. His team is changing lines.
Mike Knuble out on the penalty kill for Team USA now. Angled back in for control by Syphilis. Ricocheted across. It skipped away from the defense of Jordan Leopold, number 4 for Team USA. Slowed down a bit by Nizhieves. Alexander Nizhieves played it to the corner. It's picked up now by Leopold, and he's able to sail it back down. Halfway through the penalty kill for Team USA. A long pass by Irbe, brought on by Panalevs, and he just waits. Now back to the point it comes to Carlos Skrastich. Back across for a shot that's kicked out by Graham. Skrastich with it. Hands back on to Panalevs. Sent one in front that's cut off by Chelios. Nudged back on and then dropped back in. Looked like it was going to be an offside, and sure enough it is.
Chelios picked it off. Detroit's hockey club, who he plays for, is number 1 with penalty killing in the NHL. Chelios is great on the penalty kill in front of the net. Good shot by Skrastich on John Graham. He kicked it out with his left foot. Skrastich plays for the Colorado Avalanche. There's that good shot. Big rebound. Now watch in front of the net. There's Chelios right in front. There, picking off the pass. Nice play.
To the last half minute of the penalty kill for the United States as it's railed back in again by Grits Ankipants. Around behind Herbert Vasiliev. Back onto Ankipants again. Has a great hockey name. First name is Grits, and it's spelled G-R-I-T-S. To the last 13 of the man advantage. Ankipants there, able to turn away and play it through Brett Hedican. Scaled back off now by Vasilievs, but lost on out to center. And pivoting into trouble is Rodrigo Lavinch. Follow-up and a shot on Graham, and that came in front from Mamonovs. Now held to the outside as penalty time is up. Shot again, ricocheted back. Team USA shifts from defense to offense, and it's tucked back in by Brian Gianta.
So for Team USA, mission accomplished on the penalty kill. Had one scoring chance of their own, and Ralston missed the net, but it also gave Graham, the goaltender, a chance to really get into the game. A couple of nice little saves, and he's been able to feel the puck a little bit.
The Latvian fans make a lot of noise. Of course, Team USA's fans usually have the USA chant. but they come armed here. They're wearing a lot of crimson. They have drums that they beat. They have really a whole collection of people sitting in 4 to 5 rows in a section and spread all around this Palasport Olympico. Meanwhile, it's chipped out between Chelios and Schneider, defense partners in Detroit.
And Mike, a 9 p.m. start local time here in Italy for this game, and I wonder what the Latvian fans were doing all day. They're pretty fired up, is what I'm saying.
And we're going to get a penalty coming up here. Call is interference. Keith Tkachuk was shaken up a little bit. Seems to be okay. Minor penalty to Latvia. Sitting down in the box is Agris Saviles.
Saviles will go. There he picked off Tkachuk and knocked him into the boards. These boards, again, we mentioned it this morning during the Team Canada game. These boards are 48 inches, 4 full feet high. That is 6 inches higher, taller than the NHL boards, something you have to get used to. So here we go. First U.S. power play of the Olympic tournament.
Mike Modano at center. He will have Mark Parrish of the New York Islanders on one side and Doug Wade of the Carolina Hurricanes on the other. They have Ralston out at one point, does Team USA, as it's shaken back off by Matthew Schneider. 2 good blasters at the point as Irbe comes out, flings that one along, and it went out of play, and that will bring about a penalty to Arturs Irbe. It'll be a 5-on-3 for the United States.
Went into the bench. It didn't go over the glass. It went into the bench. Now NHL rules, as you look at the puck go to Irbe, he settles it down. He wants to carom it off the boards and out, but it went directly into the bench, so he gets the penalty. And he now is talking to the referee about the call. Irbe's trying to say that it went off of the stick. The players are trying to tell the referee that it went over the boards into the bench, not over the glass. The referee will have none of it, and we have a 5-on-3 and a great chance for Team USA, who have now moved Modano back to the point.
One back by Scott Gomez, kept then by Schneider. Work to the outside to Mike Modano again. Dallas Stars performer hands back to Schneider. Walks it on. Schneider gives it back over to Brian Ralston. Then across it comes. Gomez fed it in front. Oh, and a great save by Irbe on Modano.
And full marks to Scratchnich. The defenseman in front stopped the pass from getting across the front of the crease in one quick motion. Instead, he slowed the pass down, which upset the tempo of the reception and the pass. See that? So Irbe's able to reach up and quietly grab the puck.
Schneider turns for the United States. The 5-on-3 continues with a little pass to Tkachuk, who gave it back to Schneider. Then Gomez, then Schneider, a save made by Irbe and cleared back out.
Mike Arturs Irbe just turned 39. He's been telling people he wants to get back into the NHL. He keeps playing like this, he's going to get there at 39.
Gomez given a good shoulder there by Rodrigo Lavic. And it skipped off Modano, and the U.S. has to retreat. Still lots of time on the 5-on-3, 3/4 of a minute. Tkachuk flipped one, and that handcuffed Schneider, so they have to drop back again.
Every time a USA player tries to carry it in, they get checked. Knubel's carrying it in here. See if he gets checked. Finally, the puck in. Now they can set it up.
Modano has Conroy at the front, gives to the back now to Schneider. Modano a drive, and he hit the outside of the net near the post with it. Around it comes to Conroy. Lays it on to Scott Gomez, but he had trouble settling it down, and it comes back out.
And I apologize. I said Knubel. It was Conroy that carried the puck in.
Knubel does wear 22 in the NHL, but you can't have 2 guys with it. Here is Conroy feeding one to the slot. A shot. Oh, deflected up into the glass as Bill Guerin was right at the hash mark.
Irbe did it again. He did it again. Irbe has history of winning big games. Look at the wide open man, high to the blocker side, and Irbe just takes it away. I remember him beating Russia 3-2 on behalf of his native country, Latvia, in a world championship. I'm telling you, it was huge. There's another one. And you know, Mike, you almost sense that Irbe knows he put his team down 2 men, that he wants to bail them out of it. He's 19 seconds away from that happening. Man, he's been hot early and pure. It's all pure. Not accidental, not out of position. It's pure. And the U.S. Hockey Club here has won 10 of the first 11 faceoffs.
Well, he recognizes he's playing for his country, but you don't think that there's a little attention ploy here to maybe get some work over in the States down the home stretch? Meanwhile, it is Bill Guerin twisting it around. It is a 5 against 4 for another dozen. John Michael Lyles of the Colorado Avalanche gives it on to Chris Drury. One-time Hobey Baker Award winner across now for the drive, and it's held by Irbe. Quite a blast that came across from Schneider.
And Eric Cole down on his knees. Don't know what happened to him, but he got clipped up in the face. Something got him up there. The shot by Schneider, he had to reach forward for it, so the shot was too high. Easy save by Irbe. Now on the near side, Eric Cole is there. Oh, and the stick came up, and the referee's looking right at it. I mean, when you look at a play like that, that was Reikki's, his stick goes right into the face, and the referee's standing right there looking. That's a bad missed call.
One by Waite, given back to Hatcher. Angles it on further for Bill Guerin. Tried to play one in front, and it ricocheted around. Penalty time is up. The Arthur Zerbe minor penalty is over, and a shot went sailing wide. Pulling the trigger was Mark Parrish. Now around to Doug Waite, trying to protect. Backhands one in front. Oh, and Irbe reached out and shuffled it away. There'll be another penalty coming up against Latvia.
Well, perfect position. Billy Guerin was there to score. He had the open side as the puck had gone by Irbe, but he was hooked. And as the hook was there, Seapritz was the player that hooked the stick of Bill Guerin. He couldn't finish, but the penalty is drawn. Guerin goes to the front of the net. You're going to see him stop and turn. He's down below the goal line with the puck right now. And as he sees this play develop with Doug Waite, he'll go to the net. There he is, and he's hooked. And good call by the official.
One back to Lyles, handed on across, held by Schneider. Back to Lyles, then Schneider again. Worked around behind Keith Tkachuk with it there, creeping in as Lyles' pass went to the outside and down. We know that this game is being watched by a lot of National Hockey League fans. There are a couple of rule differences. Any player other than a goalie can shoot the puck out of play and not be penalized here. If the goalie shoots it out of play anywhere, it's a minor, as Irbe's, of course, has seen. Work back in deep. Tkachuk a shot on, ricocheted across the front. And is punched on back to center ice. Eric Cole, who had taken that stick, sees it brought back in by Ozolinsh. Fed one across, unable to get a shot away that time because of the play made in front was Semyonov. Right back they come again. Gianta's shot. He scores!
Ryan Gianta, 33 goals for the New Jersey Devils, gets the first win in the Olympics for Team USA. John Graham had a strange shot come his way. 2-on-1. It goes off a skate into him, and he stops it with the right pad. Now Team USA having a player trapped, working the power play, able to move up, and there's the beautiful shot beating Arthur Zerbe. Top corner. Gianta delayed, waited, bang. Top corner, 1-0 USA.
The Rochester, New York native, who grew up working in his father's hardware store while playing hockey. His brother still playing for Boston College, and the parents make it to almost every game. At least the hardware store owner, Sam Gianta, does. Then he gets back and opens up the next day. They learn to work hard early. Long toss ahead is connected to Bill Guerin, and a shot is deflected wide. Curls back on, and a reach by Mike Modano nearly prevailed. It skips on back. Good cover there by Chelios. Can't get the shot away. And back out, and possibly a 3-on-1 comes Latvia. Ankipov with a shot, and it went wide. Guerin has it now. Might be a chance for the United States, but they're in the midst of a defensive change. Guerin slid one through Brian Ralston. Ralston collides there with Lavinch, and it is outletted back on by Latvia. Nice little touch to Ankipov, but then it's broken up and he has to circle.
You like the pace in this game?
Yes.
It's some fast game. This is the way Peter Laviolette likes to coach.
Back on now, turning with it and shooting one. Score! Chris Conroy, 2-0.
Team USA was changing. Team USA was changing. There was a turnover right near center ice. And Conroy, as the Latvia team is over there changing too, took advantage of the whole thing. And with his speed, it's an against-the-grain shot that Conroy took. The Los Angeles King takes the shot. It goes off the inside of the right arm of Arthur Zerbe. Not long before this tournament, Conroy was watching the movie Miracle, just to get himself revved up for this tournament, and that was a great play. Latvia was changing. The U.S. had a clean change. Conroy picked off the puck and scored.
54 seconds separating the goals by Gomez and by Conroy, and they were on consecutive shots against Artur Zerbe. Jason Blake out of the University of North Dakota dropped it back in. It's turned over near Mike Knuble. University of Michigan product. Cycle it on further, and Blake right back for it. Around to Knuble again. Tumbling down to the ice was Conroy. There'll be a penalty coming up, and it is going to be another call against Latvia.
Well, Team USA skates like this, and they're dogged on the puck. They're retrieving the puck. They're getting the puck, and they're making this Latvia club take all kinds of penalties. There's the hook. And the power, too. Here's another look at the goal. The puck was way up in the air. Conroy just went to his strong side, which is forehand. Put the puck back against the grain. Urbe should have had that, but didn't. It was a great goal in taking advantage of Latvia changing. So Team USA on another power play. They're drawing power plays, Mike, with solid work and speed.
Arvids Reikis gets the minor penalty for hooking against Latvia, and Brian Ralston with some trouble with the checking of Semyonov. Hooked on free now for Tombiev, but then eventually able to emerge and bring it back as Ralston. Gives back on to Scott Gomez, assisted on the first. Ralston, a blast that is held by Urbe.
This Latvia club trapped two of their players behind the U.S. goal line, but they're killing a penalty. And that means the only two were back were defensemen, and there was 4 people rushing up on them. So they're, I mean, this is recklessly aggressive, this Latvian team, and if the U.S. is smart and patient, they'll be able to take advantage of that.
Chances in the game are 12-2 United States, and the shots on goal 11-4. Doug Waite, the face-off win. Got it back to Lyles, handed back to Waite again. Across for a blast, and that one went sizzling wide from Eric Cole. Now it's Cole again, able to hold that one along. Tucked a little pass over near Parrish that's cut off and cleared. 45 killed by Latvia. Goals by Chianta and Conroy here in the first period for Team USA. Able to step by now as Lyles, gaining the zone easily. Handing it on back for control by Eric Cole. Spun back by Modano. Work to the outside and drifting near the front as Lyles. As to the outside, you watch it played on back again for Cole. Forward for Carolina, hands to Lyles, who's resumed that position again. Dropped off by Waite. Forehand shot by Modano is held by Urbe.
May have gone into his mask. I heard the sound of a puck hitting some plastic. He wears the old birdcage styled mask that he's worn his entire career. High shot again on Urbe, but he's able to hang on as Mike Modano skates off. Talked about his favorite moment ever in the Olympics that he's been in, and that was in Salt Lake City, just because he was able to play the games at home. And there's the shot that Urbe makes a save on.
Broken up in the last 35 of the penalty kill for Latvia. Play can stop if a shot strikes the goaltender in the mask. That is another unique rule to the Olympics. Brought ahead by Ralston, given on to Scott Gomez. Tried to feed one in front. It's blocked around near Ralston, then railed around further by Saviles.
Gotta love the look of Team USA here. Latvia is not nearly as good, obviously. But Team USA, at the drop of the puck, have had great pace, great speed, no butterflies. They're just making it happen almost every shift.
Matt Schneider around, booted on by Conroy, protected by Gomez, fed back onto Schneider, right out of the box to break up the play as Reikis, and back they come in a 3-on-2. Carrying on now is Semyonov, fed it back for a rising shot, save for him, rebound, they score! Latvia has connected, and it's 2-1.
Well, the Latvian crowd is losing it here. They're having a great time. What a play out of the penalty box. Bang! There's the turnover as Saviles, who took the penalty, knocked down Matthew Schneider, and in the rebound goes back, and there's the puck put in.
Alexander Nijevs has scored for Latvia. A very good time for them to connect here and get back in this game.
Took advantage of a 3-on-2. Graham with a good save, but the rebound went right out to Nijevs, and he's able to score, and we have what was a runaway at 2-0, and all pressure by Team USA. Now with the hit out of the penalty box on Schneider, a 3-on-2 and a 2-1 hockey game.
Laid back in by the United States, but it skipped away from Knuble. Jabbed on around by Carlos Krastic of Latvia. Cycled back on by Conroy. Jason Blake behind. Swinging at him was Arvids Reikis, and he freed it up enough. And it's cleared back out off a stick. And advancing it now, Latvia, brought on by Sipulus, drops it on back again for a centering pass that's deflected wide by the U.S. defense and Jordan Leopold. Right back out now comes Blake. He's got a man breaking to the front of the shot. Saved by Urbe. Diving out to poke it away from Knuble. Centering pass. Ricocheted off Arvids Rikas and is played along further up around the mesh, but not into it. So play is still live, and it's Knuble pinned up against the boards by Rikas again. Little nudge came back on now to Blake. Threw one off Urbe. Bouncing puck settled down by Zidinc and cleared out. Oh, the pace to this game. This is what Team USA had expected, and this is what they wanted. But it burned them on the last play, the goal that was scored a moment ago. That came from Nijis to cut the lead in half. 5:35 in an interesting first period. Retreating to play is Georg Pioch. On out to center ice for control by Zidinc. Dropped it back in deep, and pivoting in is Berzinc. Around for Zidinc behind. Match stride for stride by the U.S. defense and John Michael Lyles. Zidinc turning again, and once again it is wedged away again by Lyles. Twisting with it again now is Michaelis Redlis. Forehand shot is knocked down in front and played out again by Doug Waite, as Latvia is saying, you want to play it this way, we're going to bring it.
And their bench, half their players are standing up there. I mean, they are just wired into this thing. And that goal gave them some life.
Ralston a shot, and it got the glass and is held by Urbe.
Brian Ralston plays for the Minnesota Wild. He can play on the point of the power play, kill penalties. He's got a great shot, and Urbe moved across and took the shot away. This time, Ralston hit the net, and Urbe held on. But I think that goal has energized the Latvian club. There's a lot of energy on the ice in this game with both hockey clubs going at it.
To the point, Schneider, a shot directed well wide. Hops back out, taken by Eric Cole to the outside. Cole has Ralston behind, fed one in front, and it clicked back across to be taken by Grits Ankipants, and then is handed on back where Schneider can play it across. Chris Chelios, the 44-year-old captain of Team USA, in his fourth Olympics, tried to connect to Ralston. That denied, but Chelios came right back across and broke it up and flew it back in. Lavinch given a good hit. Puck played on back out. That came off Ankipas, but then is eventually taken by Scott Gomez. Gomez, along with John Michael Lyles, assisted on the first goal by Gianda. Second goal was by Craig Conroy. There have been no assists awarded on that, nor on the third one by Alexander Nijis. Brought back ahead now, controlled by Latvia, handed across for Tambayev, and a shot is ricocheting off of John Graham and hopped wide. Cycled back on as they try to get it to Tambayev again, but that fails, and there will be a penalty coming up. It will be Brett Hedican of Team USA going to the box in a Latvian power play.
Interference call. So Latvia down by 1. In the closing minutes of this first period, we'll have a power play opportunity to tie it up. And there's the crunch along the boards. And power play for this Latvian club.
Boy, just a great pace to this game. It is noisy in the arena. Fans from both teams are constantly cheering. Urbe, cat-like in goal, has yielded 2. John Graham at the other end, 1. Tons of shots, 15 for Team USA. Only 6 for Latvia. As this kick back in, and big Darian Hatcher is back for that. Gave it up, though, and it's sent on to the back. But kept alive now as they work to the outside. It is Nijevs again. On the back, gave it across. Ozelinch able to return it on back. Thrown to the front, and trying to connect on that play was Leonidas Tambiev. And it's out to the front again. On back for Ozelinch's drive, and that one deflected away as Jason Blake was the unfortunate guy that got in the way, and then he's taken down, and there will be a penalty against Latvia.
Tambievs, you're looking at him, number 14, reached in with a stick and knocked down one of the U.S. players. I believe it was Jason Blake. A hooking call, and that'll even things up here. There was 1:18 to go on the minor to Hedican. There's a stick jabbed into him, so he gets the call as Hatcher comes over and says hello too. Ozelinch had a great chance to take a shot, Mike, but the puck flipped on him late in the period with the snow on the ice and such. So we'll have some 4-on-4 action here, and the pace that this game's been played at, with a person like Cole on the ice, one of the best skaters in the NHL. Imagine him working with Modano. Think of the speed for Team USA on the ice up front.
They work it in back down, give on to Schneider. Brought very deliberately ahead. They gain the zone in a 4-on-4. Mike Modano turning there. Cole is out on this power play, and also Leopold, as it is walked on back and circled by Latvia, but then punched back in by Cole. Good aggressive move. Has Modano across, but the pass is blocked harmlessly away by Grigori Pantaleev. To the back for a shot by Schneider. That ricocheted off a leg and is angled back out once more. 37 to go on the Hedekin minor, and then it will be a power play for Team USA. Curling with it is Rakes, and he's able to get the pass back again to start the offensive. Ahead it comes now to Ankipov with a shot that is knocked down. Rebound is picked up by Herbert Vasiliev. Gibbs onto the back now, controlled by Lavic again. Lavic circling for Latvia. Fed one in front. Oh, to Vasiliev with a backhander that is stopped by Graham. On comes Doug Waite, denied there. Power play begins for the United States in 5 seconds. Pass came right back to Waite. Waite with a shot. Oh, and tumbling down to the ice was Irbe as that sailed by, and he's steamed.
Oh, he got clipped by Drury. Oh, he wanted a penalty. He got his foot knocked out. That's why he was laying down on the ice. And the shot, the puck barely missed the net.
To the last 25 of the power play. Wonderful chaos here. Brought ahead by Gomez. Steps by one. Gomez fed it in front. It's deflected away by Irbe as gliding near the front of the net with Keith Tkachuk. All right, Graham. I'm going to try to keep my voice down. Brought back by Lyles. Back on to Gomez. Moves by one. Crosses, shoots. Sailed it wide. Dropped on back. Ozolic trying to lead a rush ahead. Able to wedge it back to center. Penalty time is up to the United States. Ladled ahead by Gianta, brought on by Tkachuk, fed it across to Gomez, tried to return to Gianta. Team USA in the midst of a change. 2 against 2 now for Latvia, trying to swagger by Asimpoulos, and the shot deflected wide.
Oh,
healthy hit.
Oh,
Riding into a man that time was Matthew Schneider, and then Chelios. And some whistling being done here by the fans who don't like the physical nature of this game from the United States.
that was a 2-on-2 with Schneider and Chelios back there. They took care of business. The Latvians don't like hard hitting the fans.
Knubel's shot was knifed down by the defense of Rakes. Handed on back, and it is Chelios in the last 9 seconds of an interesting first period here. Very calmly, it's Chelios on to Schneider, and that will do it.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. 16 shots by Team USA, a 2-0 lead. And then all of a sudden, an odd man rush by Latvia. They scored on the rebound. And we have ourselves an exciting, fast-paced hockey game the way it should be played.
Gianta and Conroy scored for the United States. Alexander Nijiev scored for Latvia. And so we have completed 20 interesting minutes here at Palasport Olympico. We'll be back with interviews. 2-1 USA after 1. Was that ever good?
The 20th Olympic Winter Games.
Of interest, it is a narrow lead. Just in goals. 16-7 shots, 18-4 chances, 11-2 hits, face-offs 20-3.
I mean, it was so one-sided all the way through. Artur Zerbe made some great saves. Their team, the Latvians, competed around the front of their net. And Artur Zerbe actually even let one of the 2 goals in that was a bad goal. However, they find a way to still be in this game, a 2-1 hockey game. And they were badly outplayed for the majority of the period. The good part, as far as I'm concerned, for Team USA, when they work that hard, they're going to draw a ton of power play opportunities all the way through this thing if they keep working like that.
Opening face-off for the second period here. Chris Chelios has a word with the referee, but now we are set to go. Thundering ovations for both these teams when they came out for the start of the game, and on many of the thrilling plays in that opening period makes us look forward to the start of the second here. The Latvian fans do sacrifice greatly to make long trips to see the World Championships as well as Olympic Games, as they are doing here in Torino, Italy. But here is Blake scaling it around. They won't have as far to go for the World Championships this year because those are right in Latvia in Riga. So good for them. They'll have some home games. Long pass ahead is brought on for a shot that sailed high and wide and is slapped on by Pantaleevs, but then brought back by Team USA. Knubel's pass directed across by Schneider Team USA in the midst of a shift change here as it comes back over to Pantalevs again. Chelios dealing with him, and down he skids into the boards, and play continues with Team USA coming back.
Chris Chelios could still make a difference in a game, and here's these same two players, Pantalevs and Chelios.
Chelios got in the way of that. Pantalevs kept going, and big Darian Hatcher came after him. There will be a penalty to Hatcher for doing what Chelios didn't do, something illegal.
Well, I think Chelios wanted to go to the bench for a line change. He couldn't get there, so he was three-quarters exhausted on the shift. So Hatcher came over to help, and then Hatcher, with a little extra, I guess, said the referee, and he goes to the penalty box. Some hard hitting as this period starts. That's Conroy working and battling with Reikis. Down they go. So Latvia again with the power play opportunity.
They are 0 for 2 with 2 of their 7 shots in the game coming on the power play. Big Sandis Ozolic, number 8, will take it and start to lug it ahead for Latvia. He has Semyonovs out there as the trigger man. They scale it back around, though, for Nijevs, who had the only goal for Latvia in this game, number 17. Cleared onto the back. Ozolic turnaround shot. That blocked aside. Team USA able to advance it back out in the person of Brett Hedican out of St. Cloud State. He drops it back in and comes to the bench for an obedient change of lines. 100 seconds into the second period of Team USA's first game in the preliminaries. The first of 5 games to be played in 7 days, just in the preliminaries for the United States.
You know, we were talking about Ozolic playing here and talking to the general manager of the Mighty Ducks, Brian Burke. He's happy Ozolic is able to play because he hasn't been able to play. He was in a voluntary program for substance abuse with the NHL, therefore not able to play, was released from the program and seems to be in pretty good shape to be able to play in this tournament, and they're hoping that playing the games in this tournament will allow him to get into physically good shape, so when he gets back to the NHL, he'll be ready to go. So it looks like he got through the ordeal, and hopefully for him, it'll be better for him.
You noticed him at the bench there on this power play, a shot into the catching glove of John Graham from Vladimir Mamonovs, and so again, play halted. But a minute 1 to go on the power play, and we would expect that Ozolic might be back out there blasting as we get later on in the power play.
It depends on how much they use him. He doesn't want to become exhausted as the game moves along and not be there for the second half of this thing. Latvia, you mentioned World Championships going to happen for them in Riga, their capital, come the spring. I'll get to it in a moment. And Mike, what they're going to do, the president of their country has signed off for their opening ceremonies. They are going to train a bunch of bears, real life bears, to skate. And they're going to have the bears skating in the opening ceremonies. And they've actually signed off on it. So some people are thinking that's not a good idea because they'd rather take the funding that they're going to spend to teach bears to skate, have the funding spent on youth hockey and things. It's a little bit of a controversy over there.
I would think so. That one slipped back through. Agris Savils is a skating bear who played for Hershey a year ago. Colorado property, but these are different kinds. Okay. Now, how do you fit a bear with all those big feet and claws? How do you fit him with skates?
Gotta be double runners. Hatcher, maybe borrow a pair of Hatcher skates.
Good idea.
And by the way, the team is called the Hershey Bears.
Puck played back on for a sweep back in on the power play that has ended now. Flipped back along, but it went away from Eric Cole. Twisting back on with it is Sipilas, and he holds. Sipilas gave it on back for Arvids Reikis, but around it comes, and it's picked up by Bill Guerin out of Wilbraham, Massachusetts. Guerin gains the zone and glides across, but a pass misfires for Brian Ralston. Former teammates at New Jersey. Pinching in is Chris Chelios, who turns. Nice feed back. Eric Cole wants to dip by, but no sail there because of Carlos Skrastinch, who's seen the move before. Around in front it comes, but Skrastinch able to cancel that. Here's Cole up with it, shooting, and that one is knocked down. Skrastinch unable to clear. Chelios moves in and put it off the back of the cage. Now Scott Gomez fed one that's knifed on back, tumbling to the ice. Is Matthew Schneider, has it to the point for Cole's shot. That's deflected away. Bill Guerin sees Kachuk come by and blast one that hops on back to Guerin for a shot. That is turned aside, kept alive by Schneider. All pressure for the United States. Moved in by Guerin, taken along again by Scott Gomez. Gomez shoves. Tkachuk with a shot, and it's blocked back off by Carlos Krastinch and cleared. Icing is called.
Icing, and you know, the NHL has a great rule. When you're being outplayed and you ice the puck deliberately to stop play, you shouldn't be allowed a line change because you've been outplayed by the Team USA club here. Why should Latvia be rewarded with a line change by icing the puck and stopping the game? However, give the Latvian club credit for blocking a lot of shots. All that pressure, Mike, no registered shot on goal.
3 shots were blocked, and the guys doing the blocking have gotten a rest now on the icing change. Coming way out of his net is John Graham. Graham forced it away, and he got a little benefit on that Urbe didn't get earlier and was penalized as his stayed in play. Brian Giunta. But sent around by Ozolinsh.
We cover the New Jersey Devils. Brian Giunta plays for them. Mike, why is he able to so many times get on the inside of a much bigger man and be able to control the puck? Will you explain that to me?
I guess it's just quickness. He's got all kinds of moves, but quickness is the main thing.
I think courage, too.
Yeah, he's willing to go to the front of the net. He had 21 goals the last time the NHL had a complete season. He's gone well past that now into the 30s. But many of those were unassisted because he was impaled on the crossbar when he scored them. That was because he was moving at the front of the net as a small man at a time when there weren't rules that would allow him to get there without being really worked over. Here is Ozolinsh bringing it on. Ozolinsh with a wrister that is cut off in front and steered quickly back for Doug Waite. Brought back on again by Mark Parrish. Moves up there and dumped it on, hoping for Drury, but got it himself. Pushed it behind away from Drury. It spiked back on by Artur Zerbe, the Latvia goalkeeper. Pierre Maguire is back downstairs here. We always like to call him in for observations. Pierre, one of those times is now.
Brian Giunta is able to get inside on people, 1, because of his quickness spike, and 2, because the New Jersey Devils have a drafting philosophy. They draft guys whether they're big or small, but they really care about hockey strength. And Brian Giunta has amazing hockey strength. Wide base, very strong on his feet, can out-muscle bigger players because he's got a low center of gravity. But if you look at the New Jersey Devils draft philosophy, it's all about being hockey strong. And that's a major component of Brian Giunta's game.
You look at Rick DiPietro, the backup goaltender. You know, the other thing, I saw a game recently, Mike, I'm sure you were there. Giunta was battling for a puck, and I mean a battle, a rough, tough battle. Zdeno Chara plays for Ottawa, playing here in this tournament for Slovakia. He's 6'7" without skates. And Chara took a penalty on the play. With Giunta, that shows to me that there's no fear at all in his game.
It is Keith Tkachuk holding it there. Fed one to the back on this power play for Team USA. That ricocheted off Cole. Scaled back around by Vasiliev, and it has to be chased down. There was one situation that occurred in Ottawa where Chara pounded him to the boards and glass, was not penalized. Giunta bounced off and came back to deflect one home. One of the scouts watching said, "I'd like to show that to every small player in the game as we get a stoppage of play," and goaltender interference or crease interference on the part of Keith Tkachuk will bring this faceoff back outside.
I don't think that'll be the last time we're going to see Keith Tkachuk be called on that one. He likes to be around the goal crease. There it is, 23. Tribune Sauce, he's the player that goes to the penalty box, and he's got 1:21 to go. That was the call by the official.
Keith Tkachuk was a member of the 1992 Olympic team that played in Mirabel, France in the Albertville Olympics. And he was just about to sign a very large contract with the Winnipeg Jets, but that was at a time when Team USA was all comprised of amateurs, college students. That continued through 1994. And then eventually in 1998, it changed in Nagano, where NHL players got time off. Matthew Schneider takes this. 55 seconds to go on the power play. 6:40 gone, second period, 2-1 in a tight game. Team USA, statistically they're winning the battles, territorially too, but on the scoreboard it's narrow. Ralston to Schneider and on to Modano. Modano slipped it on through. Parrish's shot, and that one went wide. Played back along by Schneider again. Parrish nudged it free. It went off Modano, given right back to him. Rifled back to the point. Ralston hands back over to Schneider. Then Modano once again. O'Donnell dealt it back off. Doug Waite controlling there. Armada, Michigan native, gave it on back and got it once more. It is Waite spinning it across. Schneider a drive and a save made by Irbe. My goodness. And it's cleared back down.
It's Krasnich went down to try to block the shot. He may have gotten a piece of it too. This Latvian club is not allowing shots through to Irbe very much here in the second period.
That is the first United States shot. Penalty time is up as Irbe goes behind. Losing his stick is Mike Knubel as it's brought back out by Latvia, and Atvars Trubakovs with a shot that's deflected up into the mesh above John Graham. Graham has not been a very busy goalkeeper. Faced 7 shots in the first period and just 1 here in the second.
And he does some stretching, as you see there, to keep himself loose instead of being back there watching the action like a fan, only with a great seat and tightening up. And he's really doing some stretching right now to try to make sure he stays loose.
My partner John Davidson, an NHL goalkeeper for 10 years, 2 in St. Louis, 8 with the New York Rangers. What do? Little mental exercises in a game where you don't get much work?
Sometimes you look at the clock and put it into 5-minute segments, Mike, to really keep yourself into it. You know, play the clock 5 minutes and then okay, play it 5 more minutes and then 5 more. And there's 4 of them obviously per period. Sometimes you just keep yourself mentally sharp instead of thinking negative thoughts.
It is Irbe behind. Oh, he turned it into trouble. Jason Blake was there, but Irbe recovered very well. Long toss is out to Sandis Ozolinch, who walks it ahead. Ozolinch drops. Oh, and smeared was Tombievs to the corner. Play continues, and some of the Latvian fans whistle. Down to the ice goes Blake. Play continues there. Pass to Ozolinch, who rifles it on back. Carried back ahead. Niezives with a shot that is blocked away. He's the one who scored on the very first goal.
He's an exciting player. 17 white. He's exciting with the puck.
Not very large, but very fast. And as we saw earlier, a good shot as this one is scaled back in once more by Jordan Leopold. Forced back off, and it careened on out to be settled down by Maris Seeding.
Second period has settled down a lot compared to the first period. Not nearly as reckless.
Oh, Chris Drury plays it on now for a shot by Guerin that's held by Irbe.
Guerin will shoot. He'll shoot from the bench if he has to. That's the history of Bill Guerin. Went 18 games, pardon me, without scoring. Finally got one against Nashville, and the entire Dallas team that he plays for mobbed him, saying, "You finally got one. Good."
Pierre?
Gentlemen, one of the problems for the Americans right now, the Latvians are collapsing. They're in good own coverage right down below the tops of the circle. So the American point men have to move laterally if they're going to get shots on goal. You can't stand still. If you stand still, too easy to take away the shooting avenue. Too much stagnicity for the Americans. They've got to start moving on the offensive blue line. And one of the reasons why, the way they block shots from Latvia.
Very good chance for Brian Giunta, but through all the stagnicity Pierre was talking about, it's cleared on back and Team USA regroups.
Got a dictionary?
I like that.
Stagnicity. That's somewhere near salubrious, I think.
Salubrious. Well, what does that mean?
Health giving, and Irbe just gave their team a health giving save when he robbed Giunta.
Tkachuk hands it on to Scott Gomez. Moving in with Giunta, gives to Tkachuk, and Tkachuk a shot. It went scorching wide. And careens all the way back to be played by John Michael Lyles. That nubbed away from him, and it'll be taken by Sipilis. Martin Sipilis to the outside, held off and up by Lyles, but it's punched away from Gomez. They have a man in front to the slot. It comes in a shot. It's held by Graham from Arvids Reikas.
What a move and what a play as Reikas, the defenseman, moved in. And John Graham, I think, smartly guessed where this shot was going to go. As you look at Latvia, they had made a change on the fly, and this pass here is beautiful. Now watch Graham go down past the traffic, knowing if there's a shot, that's where it had to be, and he ate the puck up. Good save, timely save.
Scoring chances in the second period. One apiece. A lot of action. But as you observed, John, a lot different than what we saw in the first period. Brian Ralston moving in. Oh, and a great diving play by Reikas. Then it's sent out in front for a shot. Booted right back out by Artur Zerbe. The shot by Leopold. Now it's cut off and headman back out by Pantaleevs. Brought it back and got the drop pass. And the shot, and his stick failed him. Meanwhile, around behind, it is big Darian Hatcher seeing this nubbed ahead. A 3-on-2 as the pace picks up again for Team USA. Madonna gives it back. Fed in front, and having a whip at it was Eric Cole.
I love to watch Eric Cole skate, one of the best skaters in the NHL.
Ralston drive, deflected wide. Getting in the way was Rakes. Now Ralston, then Madonna. Crosses, trying to get by Rakes. Had to be shaken up when he took the brunt of that shot.
Oh, yeah.
It was cleared back out.
Their whole team playing with courage. Their whole team standing up at the bench.
Chelios into the glove of Irbe. He will wait.
Eric Cole made a defensive play in front of his own net that came back all the way the other way and had a play at the net on Irbe, and Irbe and his teammates, as Chelios, the captain of this club. By the way, the assistant captains on Team USA are Keith Tkachuk and Mike Modano, all veterans of the Olympics. But Team USA has to be patient here, Mike. They can't get too flustered at not getting scoring chances at the net. Just keep playing their game, because they've got the puck 70% of the time here.
Yeah, good point. It is Ozolinsh yanking it free, tapped around behind. Hennigan was going to move in, but saw that Wake could make a play. Sent to the other side, and Leopold moves in. It's turned back into him by Tombias. Mark Parrish working there trying to turn, but it is Ozolinsh sending it back out. And again on the attack, it is Latvia. Fed back across for a shot. Oh, and John Graham with a ripping save on Semyonov.
Oh, what a shot. And Graham, I mean, that was a calm catching glove save that I think was labeled for the top corner. And it was a wrist shot. He just lets it go. Wow, nice save. Graham's a big kid on his knees. His shoulders right up the crossbar. But he made a couple of nice saves in the last 3 minutes here. Look at that. 30-5. 31 now, yeah.
Well, the size difference in the goaltenders is very obvious as you look at the crossbar 4 feet above. A short side shot was blocked aside. Turned in front for Darian Hatcher.
That was Berzins that had that shot, Mike. And Graham, quietly, he's not a flashy goalie. He made another big save.
Bill Guerin. But then Latvia. And ahead with it is Zidin. Handed it across, and it went too far for Michaelis Redlis. He and his brother, 24 and 25, playing in this game. Michaelis Redlis just added to the team within the last 24 hours. Holds the puck here and tries to sidestep his way from the defense. That didn't pan out, but pinching along to keep it alive is Georg Kuyas. Now for Team USA, twisting to try to shake the forecheck of Vasiliev. And throwing it back off is John Michael Lyles, but more trouble there, and so Graham will have to step behind. Courageous play here by Latvia. They have stayed in this thing as we're past the halfway point of the 60-minute game. 2-1 Team USA ahead on first period goals by Brian Giunta and Craig Conroy.
Team USA has to find their legs again here. Remember, they had the toughest time getting to the Olympics because of weather on the East Coast. And this has been a furious pace to this point. They've had very little sleep. They're trying to get acclimated with the 6-hour time change. Well, let's watch.
A shot is deflected in front. Turnaround shot on. Graham was able to hold on. It looked like he might be juggling it, but he was able to hold on and get the stoppage of play.
Ankipans went to the net here. Chelios was going to drill him and then thought better of it. Watch this save right there. Great shot and a real tricky save. Smart tricky save. This is the last one, and then Chelios wanted to do something here, but he held himself, doesn't want to take a penalty. Good block by Giunta.
On Skrastinch's shot, Keith Tkachuk ahead, working with Gomez. Tkachuk had to go in further to get control. He's got Gomez around in front. Fed it there on Gomez. Couldn't get it home as Irbe was at the front of the crease. Back down, this one will go for an icing. They do not need to touch for an icing. You probably noticed that. The faceoff will come back near Irbe. We've talked about the size differences between the goaltenders as we see again the last chance. Artur Irbe is not a very big man.
No, but he's smart. And Keith Tkachuk is a big bull. That time he put the puck in front to Gomez. I think Gomez missed the net on the play. There's Kachuk. He's a big bull. He just power through people. Now he wants to look and find his man. And I think Gomez just missed it.
Off this draws, they've changed lines. Mike Modano is back out there. Charging back up the wing is Mamonovs. Feeds one across. Ozolinch there. Got a shot away. Oh, and it's fought off by Graham, but there'll be a penalty coming up on the play.
Some good speed by this Latvian team when they got the puck into the zone. And I believe it was Mamonovs. When he got the puck into the zone, that's when his teammates went to the net. That's when Ralston took the penalty. Another hooking call. Let's look for the Team USA's Ralston right in front. It's Ozolinch moving in on the play, and there's the penalty. So here we go. And Latvia is slowly starting to get the game going. Their pace is starting to equal that of Team USA.
Bunsauce working along with Ozolinch at the points, but Team USA is able to clear.
Conroy won the draw. He's always been a fabulous face-off man. He made it look easy.
Jason Blake and Conroy are out as forwards. It is Hatcher and Chelios in back. That one squibbed back over the line.
The Blake skate 55 blue.
On now comes Nijivs. Gives up on the wing. A feed in front, and it went off Hatcher and just wide of the cage.
Oh, was there a man open in front, Mike?
Trabunsovs let a shot go that was wide. Fed on back to him again. Trabunsovs has it. Gives it on a cross for the feed back to Ozolinch. Then Trabunsovs again. Shooting one in front. They score! Deflected in front by Alexander Semyonovs, and it's tied.
Semyonovs was the player about 30 seconds ago who was in front, and the pass never got to him. This time, as the puck is shot from the blue line, Ozolinch is on the puck. He fakes the shot, and here's the shot that is deflected up high and past Graham, who stayed deep in the net. Big goaltender stayed deep in the net. There's the wrist shot and a deflection, and we're tied up at 2 with a power play goal.
So Latvia has gotten the reward of all of that work, of being overwhelmed statistically, but not on the scoreboard in the first period. Dogged work, 4:56 to go in the second, and they have battled from 2-0 to come back even. Nijevs in the first period with 6:45 to go. Semyonov here with 4:56 to go in the second.
Draper, or pardon me, Drury took the draw. He's a great face-off man, and then he went to play the wing. Waite then switched from the wing to the center ice position for this shift.
Here is Mark Parrish centering one. Oh, and it rattled crazily. It may have struck some iron in front, but meanwhile it is protected very well and played out by Carlos Krastinch, and it will go down for an icing.
Both teams make line changes here. Let's see if Team USA could find some offense by winning a draw in the offensive zone. This Latvian team has never been intimidated. They tied the gold medal winners Canada at the '97 World Championships 3-3. They twice have beat Russia at World Tournaments since. They've got something inside them that makes them compete.
Here comes a 2-on-1. Vasiliev in and a shot. He scores! Herberts Vasiliev. 3-2 Latvia.
What a shot. Top corner underneath the crossbar inside the goalpost. And this Latvian team with 2 quick goals takes advantage of a pinch by Chelios. It's a 2-on-1, and the biggest key is he's a right-handed shot. The puck is towards the center of the ice. It creates a better shooting angle. Look at that shot. Oh, my. Chelios pinched. Nobody was back except for Matthew Schneider, a 2-on-1, and it was a perfect shot. And the Latvian team have 2 goals off of odd man rushes and now lead for the first time 3-2.
9-5, Team USA in shots and goal in this period. Meanwhile, it is played back along and out for Chris Chelios, swept it back along for Gianta, played back further for Keith Kachuk. Tries to fend off the defender Rikas. Now Kachuk again. Fed it out in front. Oh, and a good blast by Gianta is answered by Urbe. Held by Matthew Schneider. Shoots one that's blocked back out. Another 2-on-1. Moving up the wing now is Tsipras. Tsipras crosses. Side of the net shot.
Oh.
Blocked off by Graham.
Great save. Left pad. 1-goal game, almost 2. Another play where a defenseman got trapped. This time it was Schneider. It started as a 2-on-1. This Latvian team built it into a 3-on-2. And Graham read it beautifully. Left pad save. You see the point shot blocked by Schneider. Now look at the third man coming up, number 13. That's Pantelievs, and he moved it across. What a save by Graham. Wow.
It is helter-skelter on ice here. It is noise. It is opportunity. Less opportunity in this period than the first. Entertaining game, 3-2. Latvia ahead. At one time, they trailed 2-0.
And Latvia's countering here. They're making Team USA now make the mistakes, and they're finishing.
Mike Modano shook one back, punched along there by Lyles, then nudged back out ahead, and another 2-on-1. Tambiev's brought it across, gave it over, and a shot pinballed in front off the defense of Lyles, and it's foisted away by the goalkeeper, John Graham. Ozelinch couldn't get that one. Instead, it's Lyles scaling it off. Ozelinch gloved it down, played by Mike Modano, and it beamed one of the Latvian players, who is now headed to the bench, Leonid Tambiev, as it's carried on now by Big Darian Hatcher. Gains the zone, the Philadelphia Flyer does, and hands on now to Ralston. Finessed around behind, has Modano the trailer and cycles to him. 2.5 to go. Penalty coming up. The call will be against Mike Modano of Team USA, and another power play for Latvia.
Vasilyevs made the play. Somewhere along the line here, if I was Peter Laviolette, I'd call a timeout. Look at the work by 12, and then the hook by Modano, which is a bad penalty. Vasilyevs is the person who drew it. Team USA is making mistakes now and taking a bad penalty. They need to calm down, catch their breath. This Latvian team is flying. They need to catch their breath and start playing the game that's a smart game and a little more patience. Their defensemen are pinching too much, and Latvia is just countering. They're making a goal. The first job right now for Team USA is to kill this power play.
There will be only about 45 seconds left in the period if they are able to kill it off. Perhaps that's the reason he didn't choose to call the timeout, but I know the reason you're thinking.
Well, I was thinking about it.
Yeah,
I was thinking about it 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Laid back down again. Artur Zerbe comes out to block it. Diminutive goaltender just shunts it aside now for Kristianis Redlitz of the Albany River Rats in the American Hockey League. That's where he's been playing this year. Graham with a long sailing toss back down the ice. 1:10 on the power play. 1:40 in the period. All the way down, and Graham just grabs it like a shortstop and holds on.
And he shouldn't mind doing that. Their team's been so good at winning faceoffs that they should be able to win this. Get it out of the zone. There's 1 minute to go on the Modano minor, and a minute 33 left in the period. Team USA changes 2 players. They're forwards.
One by Chris Drury. Team USA has dominated in faceoffs, but that a very important one for Drury to win. Cleared back down, and he goes charging after it, testing Artur Zerbe, who had to shuffle it back off, and it's played by Tsipras. Carlos Krastic brings it on ahead with a crisp pass that is on to Tsipras, bringing it on now for Latvia. They fan it out a little bit to Pantelievs. Filtered through now to Tsipras again. Back to Pantelievs once more, then to Krastic. Pantelievs again. Final minute of play in the period. Centering pass is blocked aside. Pantelievs scaled it around behind. Popped up in the air. Good hand-eye coordination by Chelios, who's tripped up. There will be a penalty coming up to Latvia.
Tsipras, I believe, is the person going to go as he appeals, and the referee looks in the other direction as the appeal goes. It's a tripping call. 16 seconds left on the Modano penalty, and there you can see the feet pulled out on Chris Chelios. Boy, the one great chance by Latvia, and one of the U.S. defensemen blocked a shot. This Latvia team's impressive. They're getting better as the game moves along. For Team USA, during the intermission, they've got to find their legs. I mean, this was really a fast-paced game, and Latvia's gotten quicker. Team USA has leveled off a little bit with their pace.
Team USA ranked number 6 out of the 12 teams here. Latvia ranked number 10. But in a lot of cases, the players who got them those rankings a year and a half ago aren't here now. Cole, a shot, deflected away by Urbe. They fight away to try to play it. It's Modano behind. Gave it to the back. Matthew Schneider with it. Shoots one. Turned aside by Urbe. Power play on for the United States. Matthew Schneider has it there. Drive by Cole, and that one went wide. 10 left in the period. Cleared by Latvia. And that'll do it for the first 40 minutes. Herbe sees one more ricochet wide after the horn. 40 minutes played, 3-2 Latvia.
Well, in this situation now for Team USA, they've got to get into the locker room and understand that they trail by one, only one. Be patient. Don't make everything happen within 30 seconds. Don't be impatient like they were for the last 10 minutes of that second period. And it is a very, very, very important third period ahead for their hockey club.
Shots on goal, 12-7 Latvia. 3-2, they are ahead of Team USA going into the third. The shots are 23-19 United States. Second period shots, though, 12-7 in favor of Latvia. Overall, the U.S. with more scoring chances, but Latvia with the lead. There will be a power play of 1:13 to this team when the third period gets underway. Last year at the World Championships in Austria, the Latvian fans made so much noise in a small arena. There were 3,000 of them at the Canada-Latvia game, and Marty Brodeur, the goaltender for Canada, said, I couldn't even talk to my own players and be heard on the ice. It was so loud there. Just think when they get the World Championships in their own barn this year.
Brand new arena too, Mike, from what I understand. So they are excited. They love their hockey, and right now they love their game as they're up by a goal going into this third period. For Team USA, they have to up-tempo their game again, but play with intelligence and be patient. They don't have to panic. They're only down one shot. They can't afford to give up those odd man rushes against. Latvia's counted for 2 goals. 2 odd man rush goals plus the power play goal.
Mike Modano with it, has Parrish and Doug Waite up front. John Michael Lyles to play one side. Matthew Schneider, the man who talked with Pierre, to play the other, and he's got it. Schneider there, able to elevate a little pass back over to Lyles. Controlled by Waite, given to Modano. Inside the 4-man defensive box, and in front of Herbe now is Parrish. Dealt back in for Waite. Feeds one for Parrish, but it's spun away by Ozelinch and angled back down. Ozelinch to the bench. Semyonov's to the bench, and a change of defense for Latvia. And this one will have to be played by Waite all the way back, and instead it goes to Lyles. 23 to go on the power play. Brought on by Doug Waite. Puts on the brakes and hands it back to Schneider. Boy, pretty good attack on him, so he gave it back to Waite again. A little more of an opening for Schneider now, but Waite curls around behind. Now Schneider deep slot, able to take the pass. Gives back to Doug Waite again. Drive, save, Herbe.
Hangs on, 1 second left to go, so be aware of the man coming out of the penalty box. There's the Latvian coach, and Mike, we were watching warm-up and expecting number 6, Bonderfers. He wasn't there. They played an exhibition game against Italy, and I guess the player decided he didn't like what the coach was doing and told him so, and the player is no longer with the team. Gone. See, out of here.
Chelios' shot, save Herbe, rebound in front, across to Gianna. Oh, it's denied by the reach of Arvids Reikas on defense. Sent out in front again, away from Tkachuk, the bouncer. Tkachuk with it again, tries to feed one. Gomez's shot, it went wide the glove hand of Herbe. Gianta pressed up to the boards. Reikas, who made the brilliant play a moment ago, holds him. Catcher a shot deflected to the glass, and it careens over for Martin Simpelas to clear back out. Right back on comes Team USA, fed by Gianta to Gomez. Gomez twisting, still able to battle, able to hold on and send it to the point. Chelios drive, save Herbe, and it's tended now on to Martin Simpelas. Can't clear, drive by Hatcher, saved by Herbe, and he'll wait.
Well, Russia used to have the Moulin Wall. Right now, Arturs Herbe is the man for Latvia, as this U.S. club, led by the line centered by Gomez, had a great shift. That's off the face-off. A deflection. Herbe's there. See how much he's above the goal crease? And there's Gianta. I thought the game was tied up there. It didn't happen, though. Here's another good shot coming up. Another shot that Herbe's able to hang on to.
Drive, save, it pops over the line and in. A shot by Leopold, and the game is tied.
Well, we were wondering when Team USA was going to get some offense from the draws, and they are right now in this third period. Conroy's a brilliant face-off guy. Pass back at Herbe, who's stopping everything. lets a long shot go off his body and then back in beside him. He almost overplayed the puck and caught the inside of his stick or pad and went back in. And Jordan Leopold from the Calgary Flames able to score to tie this game up at 3. That's big. Early in the period, finally cracking Urbe. They have put together good shifts in a row in the third.
Best guys for Latvia come back out there again, including Nijevs, who scored the goal for them that got them into this game when they were trailing 2-0.
Yeah, he's number 17. That is fast.
Bonesoff gave it back. Long toss went by Nijevs and back down, and so there will be an icing call in the faceoff back near Arturs Urbe. Plays for the Austrian League Salzburg Red Bulls. That's this year. Prior to that, though, in the 2003-2004 season, he played for the Johnstown Chiefs of the East Coast Hockey League and the Lowell Lock Monsters of the AHL. He wants to graduate. This kind of play, save for the last goal that he allowed, would help him do it. Here's Blake then. Conroy's shot shanked wide. Pinching in is Hedican. Dropped it on deeper, and it's scaled through Knubel, and it's handled now and thrown back out again to center by Nijevs. It is John Graham. Hedican. Blake moves on with Knubel. Blake holds and throws one that Urbe punched aside with his goal stick, and it's played back on by Tombievs. Goes to work on Hatcher and passed one in front that ricocheted off Vasilyev. Vasilyev battling the boards. Coming by further is Nijevs. Pulled free and outletted by Mike Badano, and Latvia drops back further. Team USA makes a change and forward. Blake comes off the ice. Angled back in, and it hopped near Lyles, but is tapped around now by Ankipovs. He gets it again back to the point. Worked on by Kristianas Redlis. Worked on further, though, by Team USA, and it can be played back by Hatcher. Good close off there as it's handled by Kristianas Redlis, and he put it into the catching glove of Graham.
Yeah, Redlis with a good play. Kept the puck in the zone, forced the face-off, and you just never know. You absolutely never know. You look at Graham, the goaltender's dad was a goaltender with the Boston Bruins. There's the shot. Just a simple little play, but it allows his team to get a nice change, get some fresh bodies on there. They've hardly won any face-offs, but you never know.
From this drive, it is into the catching glove of Graham again, and he will hold on this time. Sandis Ozelinch let that one go.
And you never know. That time, Latvia won one of their rare face-offs, and right now the coaching staff tried to make a change and get Conroy on the ice to take the draw in place of Doug Waite. The referee said no. He just told Conroy to get off the ice, and Doug Waite stays on there, and they win the draw.
42 face-off wins for the United States, 10 for Latvia. But all of these stats melt and vaporize in a 3-3 tie. Waite brings it ahead. Threw one in front. It's deflected to the mesh by Arturs Urbe.
Now, I think that's a mistake. And I know that Urbe didn't want to do that on purpose, obviously. But it gives Team USA the chance to win draws. They're so good at faceoffs in this game. It leads to offense. In fact, it led to the tying goal here in the third period. So let's see what happens. Can Doug Waite win it? Up against Semyonovs.
This time prevailing Latvia, but do they keep possession? Yes, they do. Pitched back out again by Semyonovs and down for an icing, so back it'll come near Urbe again.
Automatic icings. Now the Gianta, Kachuk, Gomez line on the ice. They had a very good first shift to this third period. Let's see if they can keep it up. And it's also a growing experience for Team USA to get these line combinations to click as this tournament starts. The quicker you get that to happen, the better it is for your club, obviously.
Semyonovs on the draw with Gomez, and again Latvia prevails, and again it's chased down, but first one there will be Nijevs. Nijevs run off, and it's booted back up the boards by Brett Hedican. Turnaround shot is guided aside by Graham. Semyonovs plays it along, went through Nijevs, and back across now for Scott Gomez. Nice protection there for Team USA, and he's got some open ice. Gomez head up, brings it ahead for the United States, gains the zone and shoots one that's knocked down by the defense. Dug out and flung back on by Semyonovs, and then to center ice it careens to Leopold. Leopold, the man who tied this game up 2 minutes and a second into the third period.
Mike, with the Devils, how often did Gianta and Gomez play on the same line?
Most of the year.
So you've got good chemistry there automatically.
Offside.
Which is a smart move by Peter Laviolette and should give you good chemistry. Keith Tkachuk, the other forward on that line. Look at Gomez. Great speed. Let's see if he's got anybody open. I don't think so. So he sees the opening and he takes the shot, but you could tell it was blocked by the stick of Ozolich.
That line didn't hit its stride in New Jersey until the 3rd of January when Patrick Elias returned from hepatitis A. And all of a sudden everything turned over for that team as well as that line. Hacked into some trouble. Modano jabbed it loose there. Mike Modano from the Dallas Stars fed it on out. Could not be settled down by Eric Cole. Offside is wiped as Team USA clears. Cole shoves it on back, nearly into trouble, but it's reached by Hatcher.
And Latvia gets a rush. It's a 4-man rush. They're activating their defense, trying to find the go-ahead goal in this game.
Angled back along. Nice finesse pass comes to Conroy. Dips the shoulder and feeds one in front. But that's swept away by Vasilyev's back down. And another icing.
It's rope-a-dope. Rope-a-dope for Latvia right now. Kanuba with a bank pass. Beautiful play. And then Conroy tried to feed Blake in front, but he was completely tied up. Completely wrapped around by the arms of the defender.
They say of Jason Blake, if somebody from the other team is chasing him around the ice, he's doing his job. He is hard to play against. He is annoying, but he's also skilled. Conroy turns it there. Moving in is Blake. There'll be a penalty coming up, and the call is a stick hold. And it will be on Conroy, and so Latvia in this tie game will get a power play.
Boy, behind the other team's net, the stick was held of Skrastich. Right coming up there. Skrastich went to get to the puck, and Conroy's right arm behind the other team's net. In other words, 200 feet away from your end zone, from your goal line. So this is a 3-3 hockey game. You don't want those types of penalties, and it's the right call.
Tsipras, Sipilis, and Pantaleev, the front line for Latvia on this power play. Rakis is out. Will it be Carlos Ozolich, or rather Carlos Skrastich? Yes, sure enough, he'll be one of the point men. Ozolich will likely be out. He's considering the situation here, a 3-3 tie, puck pitched up into the seats, and so play stopped. We would imagine he'll be coming out later on in the power.
He's coming out right now. He was standing up on the bench waiting for his teammates to change. So he's out there right now. And so is our buddy Leaves, who has that goal, number 17. He is one flashy player, and he's on the near board. See him way over here? It's a set play if they happen to win their faceoff, only they don't win any.
Leopold cleared. The drum pounds in the background. Latvia's fans hoping to cheer. 3-3 tie, 45 killed by the United States. Ozolich hands it across carefully. They fan it out a little bit. It's worked around in front. Oh, and the shot was shanked off of John Graham by Semyonov. Coming by is Ozolich. Nice little turn and take by Ralston, and he stashed it back to center. Close call at the U.S. defensive end. 55 left on the power play, and offside is called.
Like the pass from the far boards to the near side allows the left-handed shots to shoot the puck off the pass. Watch the pass. There, left-handed shot, but he missed the net. See those three players? They're all left-handed shots on the left side. If the pass comes to them, they shoot the pass or shoot the puck off the pass in one motion. It's a properly set up power play unit when they're inside Team USA's zone.
Vasiliev wins it on back. Lavinch able to play it further. Vasiliev guided it across, sent along by Mamonovs, and then he was crunched. Team USA can't clear, but a good follow through by Darian Hatcher. 40 left in the shorthanded situation for the United States. Hatcher laid one in front, and it was steered just wide by Chris Drury. Latvia advances. Mamonovs brings it ahead. Drive, snared, and then put back into play by Graham. Trouble in clearing. Puck kept alive now by Redless. But it is Blake able to get by the reach of Mamonovs and send it back down. 13 to go on the kill. More players pouring off the bench for Latvia. They are in the midst of a change as we're down to 4 seconds on the power play. Little pass ahead and racing down is Pantalea. Run off now by Leopold, not once but twice. Cleared back out again, and Conroy couldn't get that one, and it is iced. Penalty box empty. 12 minutes to go in the third of a 3-3 tie.
I keep looking at the clock, and I have to remember international hockey, it goes up. I looked up, it said 8 minutes. I go, boy, this period's going fast. Actually, there's 12 minutes. So Conroy, who took the penalty, to thank his teammates for an excellent penalty kill. And here we go, another face-off, and there's been a lot of them in the Latvia zone.
In the preliminary rounds, there are no overtimes. You can have ties. From the bouncing puck, it is controlled and worked on now to Bill Guerin. Then Cole, then Guerin. Moved around in front, shot it off Urbe, and the rebound. Urbe was able to get that one, and raising his head toward the roof for a moment was Mike Modano.
Good setup. Modano and Guerin have played together at different times on the same line in Dallas. And here's the puck down behind the net. Guerin looks, has the shot Karam to Modano, but he can't get the clean shot. But keep playing, and good plays like that will lead eventually. It has to the good scoring chances. This Latvian team hanging on in their own zone.
Tombiev's pass skipped free. Matthew Schneider tries the other way. Cole punched it on. Bill Guerin couldn't control. Stoked back out to Schneider, given over to Chris Chelios. Matthew Schneider once more advances it and gains the zone, but his pass is cut. It's going to be a one-on-one, and a big shot is stopped by Graham from Semyonov, and he will cover. Boy, oh boy, Schneider took a chance.
Yeah. And right, this is what Latvia wants. Take the chance. They don't mind. They just want to counter. Long shot. And Graham's not messing around with the puck this time. The last time he did, there was another turnover in his own zone. So I don't think he minds taking these face-offs.
Gomez prevailed on that one. Darian Hatcher's pass. Tipped back down by Tkachuk. No icing here. Urbe foists it back off the glass. And it came all the way back for John Michael Lyles. Young man out of Michigan State University. Lyles handed it across now to Hatcher. Pass misfired for Tkachuk. Slugged right back across again by Ankipans. Trying to get by as Mamonov, but that fails. Back on out now for Tkachuk, then to Gomez, then up to Giunta. Giunta threw one off Urbe and the outside of the cage, and it careened into the match.
Well, Lyles with some nice plays. Gets control of the puck, makes a good pass. You don't have to make the long bomb pass all the time. Sometimes those 8, 10, 12 footers can make set up your speed rush up ice and control of the puck. Lyles with some good plays in the Colorado Avalanche Hockey Club. Born in Indiana, his grandparents used to have season tickets to go watch a team called the Indiana Racers in the old WHA, the World Hockey Association. That's how he got involved with hockey.
Puck back to the point is controlled by Leopold, swung by Waite. Angled loose in the half-boards battle, sees Hedican prevailing. It is Drury around behind. It's knifed down by Waite. Good protection there. Doug Waite holds it. Trying to move free. Backhanded one in front. Popped off Urbe. And it popped wide. Oh, and catching the stick of Parrish. And tumbling to the ice is Tsipras.
There's some blood there, Mike. He's been cut on the upper lip, and that may be a double minor. Oh, did Doug Waite show a little magic in behind the net? He showed some magic in behind the net. The puck got to the front of the net, but never would go in. Look at Waite right there. There's the move. He's trapped the defender. Now he get the puck in front, and no goal. And then as Parrish went to pick the stick up, he missed the stick of the defending player, and the stick went right up into the face, and it's a double minor because there's an injury on the play. Parrish goes to lift the stick up, missed it, and the tip of the blade went right into the face, and you can see that there's an injury to the upper lip. A double minor.
Tsipras being tended to at the bench, and it's Sandis Ozolinsh bringing it ahead for Latvia. Brought back in by Nijis. Spiked down by Graham. Lifted back down by Hatcher. And stopped by Urbe. A long power play for Latvia in this tie game. Carried back on by Tombievs. Stopped by Graham again. Whips it back with a big goal stick back up the boards. Blake could not clear out. jabbed around behind once more by Trabuntsovs, but instead it's brought on by Chris Chelios. Little pass is on now to Jason Blake. This one lobbed ahead up the wing to Tombievs. Puts on the brakes and twists and picks up reinforcements. Gets it back again from Semyonov. Board battle is won by Team USA. Brought ahead by Drury. Has Blake with him and gives it to him. Here's Blake for Drury, and it went just wide of him at the front of the net. A penalty coming up to Latvia.
That's a good call, and it's a good penalty to take as Drury was wide open. Blake and Drury got together. Chelios was going to jump into the play, and he went for a change. Look at the pass. Drury's in, and he can't get the scoring chance because he was hooked from behind. Good play by the penalty killers. Blake at the end of his shift, Drury in on it, and now we have 4-on-4.
This penalty occurred 1 minute into the double minor. So 4 against 4, barring further penalties, and then still another minute of a Latvian power play on the other side of that. Leopold and Cole and Ralston, as well as Schneider, who has the puck. Matthew Schneider brings it ahead and flings one that's guided away by the stick of Urbe. Eric Cole turning, trying to shake the defense. Cole still with Ralston jamming the front of the net. Ralston fans out to take the pass from Cole. Ralston has a shot. Gives it over now to Cole. Twisting there, trying to shake the checking of Vasilyevs. Eric Cole could not get to the front of the net because of Vasilyevs. Now it's Leopold finding some open room. A minute and 15 seconds from now, the power play will resume for Latvia. 4 aside, Matthew Schneider there. Crosses, circles around behind. Fed one to Blake, and the shot was wide to the short side. Blake punched it back along. All Team USA possession until now. Laid blindly to center, and it is Schneider tipping one that went out of play.
Good skating by Blake, and Arturs Urbe continues to play well. Mike, I remember it's got to be 15 years ago. I was in Florida covering a hockey game with a club team from Russia. What was the Soviet Union then? And Arturs Urbe was a goalie. Couldn't speak English, and I went up and I introduced myself. He looked at me and I said, goalie. Used to be goalie. St. Louis, New York Rangers. He looked at me and says, Arturs Urbe, goalie, Soviet Red Army. And he was dead serious. And then he went on to learn the language. He's a very engaging guy. And right now he's got his team in a 3-3 tie here with time running out in the second half of this third period.
34 shots to 23, Team USA. 11-4 this period, United States, but it's even on the board. Even right now in manpower at 4 aside. In a half minute, the 1 minute power play will resume for Latvia. Pantaleyev bringing it on. Sized up there by John Michael Lyles. Pantaleyev gains the zone. Scraston's shot is just grabbed and held in goal by John Graham. Carlos Scraston began with the Nashville Predators. Latvian-born defenseman. Tall with a great shot. Good long reach.
448, I think it is, consecutive games in the NHL at that level in this day and age. To be able to do that, that's a remarkable number.
Ozelinch, by the way, is back out there taking Scrastinch's place as the left point man on the power play. Laid ahead by Chelios. Moving in is Conroy, and a shot went screaming high and wide from Urbe and back down. 2 seconds and 1. Now the 1 minute power play has resumed for Latvia. Team USA with the puck, though. Chelios to Drury, slugs it back in. Carried on by Conroy, and a backhander. Turned aside by Urbe. 3/4 of a minute to go power play as Ozelinch moves on. Oh, was he ever hit by Conroy, and his shot is held by Graham.
And another hit by Lyles, and it looks like we have an injured player. Tombievs is down on his knees, just now getting up, so 2 big hits. Conroy, man, did he hit Ozelinch. Woo-hoo. And as the second man took the shot, Tombievs, Graham made the save, and he paid for it as he got nailed, I believe, by Lyles. 39 seconds to go on the minor. Look at Conroy. Look, good check. Good, clean body check by Conroy.
They say you can't hit on the wide ice surface. No, not in this game.
These kids are so fast the way they skate. It wasn't 20 years ago you couldn't skate fast enough to get over there to hit anybody.
Good point.
In this day and age, do they go?
Well, here is Ralston, short-handed. Brings it ahead. Ralston a drive. Oh, and it went through Urbe and hopped wide.
Ralston thought he scored. I think his stick was going up in the air to celebrate.
Brought back on by Latvia. They gain the zone, 20 to go. Lost, though. Swept away from Cole and back in by Rakes. Now Hedican. Then Gianta flies it on the bounce back near Urbe. Carefully played by Rakes. 5 seconds left on the power play, and then it'll be back even again. You can have ties in the preliminary round. It is Gomez. Penalty time up. Laid back in by Matthew Schneider. Oh, has he ever had a lot of time. And considering that most of these players did not arrive until Valentine's Day, which was yesterday, from Team USA.
This will be icing. Great penalty kill. Body check, scoring chances, all went to Team USA. They got the job taken care of. Brian Ralston has a great shot, and I think he thought this was going in. Oh, what a shot. Urbe was way out, just got enough of the puck that it went through him, and then out on the inside, as you see, between his body and the near goal post.
For the 16th time, Latvia has won a faceoff. They've lost 53. Brought ahead now and carried in offside by Redless. And so a neutralized faceoff with 5:57 to go in the game.
14 teams in Salt Lake City at the Olympics 2002. Latvia was ranked 9th of the 14 teams. But you can see they're working towards the Olympics of this year, 2006 in Italy, and also for their own World Championships coming up this spring.
John and I had the privilege of seeing Canada play Italy. A raucous house this morning. Tremendous celebration of hockey by the Italian fans here. The Latvian fans and those from the United States here now. Madano moving in. A rising shot was wide of the short side.
There's a beautiful pass from Lyles to set up the rush by Madano.
Madano again wanted Bill Guerin, but he was too well watched. Brought back ahead by Ankipas. Still trying to work further, but it is cut there. Swung back out by Bonanno. Chipped back ahead for the carry by Knubel. Back up the wing, Guerin a drive, and that one went wide of the glove hand of Urbe. Around it comes for Guerin again. They jam away at the front of the net, and Guerin was just screened off by Sandis Ozolinj. To a side, a burying check that came from Knubel. Meanwhile, bringing it back is Tombievs. Drips to the outside with 5 minutes to play in the game. No overtime in the preliminaries. Game tied at 3. Leopold's goal in this period tied it up for the United States. Conroy's shot! Save Urbe! They jam away for the rebound, and it's Conroy up with it again. Conroy to the back. Brett Hedican rattles it around for Jason Blake. Has weight nearby, can't get it there. Hacked on to the pinching Hedican. Keeps play alive for the United States, but then it's turned back over and brought ahead by Nijevs. Nijevs a second effort now. Trickled a pass on for Semyonov. Gains the zone and moves in. Swept away from behind by Hedican. Now Gomez. 4:20 left. Anchorage, Alaska native gains the zone for Team USA. Looks for Gianta. Has Tkachuk. Couldn't angle it there. Tkachuk turns around behind. Feeds it back near Gomez. Pivots away. Scott Gomez able to play further at the half boards, but his pass squibbed on a cross. Shifting from defense to offense, Latvia. More changes in personnel for Latvia. Gomez got in the way, but is outfought for the moment by Pantaleyev. Jammed on in deep. They try to get it around in the person of Syphilis, but instead it's controlled by the defense of Team USA. 3:45 to go in the game. Matthew Schneider across. The captain, Chris Chelios, ahead. Bangs it back to the corner boards. Playing it on the hop is Rakes. Guided one along that's grabbed off by Madano. Tried to get it to the slot, but it's brushed away from Eric Cole. Carried back ahead now by Pantaleyev. Stripped to the puck by Cole. Right back, he roars up the wing. Cole a shot! Save Urbe! Rebound popped around behind. The battle continues. Taken by Mike Madano to the outside. Madano fed it. In front, Lyles a shot saved. Rebound forced wide by Ralston. Turnaround shot was blocked loose and came on back to the point. Held there by Hatcher. 3 minutes to go. Moore banging to the boards. Working hard as Ralston to play. Close quarters for Mike Madano. Madano stoked it to the point. Hatcher with it there. Flipped it. It's blocked loose and on out now by Syphilis.
Eric Cole robbed by Artur Zerbe. Remember, they were teammates back with the Carolina Hurricanes. Cole with a great shift. Again, Team USA couldn't finish.
It is laid back in by Mike Knubel. Set up by Artur Zerbe. forced back ahead up the wing, Vasiliev. One of the goal scorers for Latvia in this game, Herbert Vasiliev, lost that to Blake. Then they muscle it back in again. Ankipas put it around behind, and right back ahead with it now comes Conroy.
Good dump in. 5 men lining up the blue line for Latvia. Throw the puck in and go get it.
Played off by Blake. Cleared back along off Matthew Schneider's stick. Nope, they are calling that icing. He must not have touched. And so there'll be a face-off near Urbe with 2:02 to go.
Look at Eric Coles on the back check. Strips the puck. He's gone. He and Urbe were teammates. Ralston to the net. There's the shot. Urbe the save. Team USA throwing everything at him here, but just can't finish. Peter Laviolette looks as there's something going on right now at the Latvia bench with the linesman. Oh, what's down there? The referee's there. Maybe a problem with the door. The door, see the handle? There's a piece there. Oh, it's been broken off, or it won't close properly. That's a dangerous situation, which is a free timeout for both clubs. Team USA want the puck drop. They're already out there. They need to get a maintenance man in here and try to get that hinge fixed properly. If a player gets hit into there and it springs open, it could be a very dangerous situation.
There are skilled people around the world who can do a lot of things that I could never do. We need the Bob Vila of Italy.
These boards were put in, brand new boards, 2 weeks ago. The previous boards were not what they wanted. They were a safety hazard, so they replaced the boards in glass. Dan Craig has been over here for about 3 months from the National Hockey League trying to fix these arenas with the ice, the boards of glass to make them as safe as possible. And they cannot play unless this door is secured properly. If it comes open and you get hit into that jagged edge, it could be a very, very serious injury.
Well, as you start to look at a schedule of events when you approach an Olympic Games, you hope that there are thrilling games like this. We have been fortunate to see something like this in the very first day here. Sweden and Finland won their games decisively, so did Canada. But this one is a tie, 3-3. Out of 12 teams, Latvia came in ranked number 10 in the world, Team USA number 6. And as mentioned earlier, many of the players on Team USA and a few of them on Latvia were not even involved in participating in the World Championship that determined this ranking. But are they ever involved in a nail-biter right now? There are ties in the preliminary rounds. You get points, 2 for a win, 1 for a tie, none for a loss. And then the top 4 teams in each of the 2 6-team divisions survive to the quarterfinal round. That is after playing 5 games in 7 days. We talk about how grueling the Stanley Cup playoffs are.
Well, and it's grueling. If you get there and if you move along into the Final 4, it is a real test. And it's a 6-hour time change. It's a complete new climate. It's a new everything. But these players wouldn't trade it for anything, Mike. They're so thrilled to be here representing their homelands. And here we go. 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in this third period. Face off in the Latvia zone. We have a 3-3 game. Scotty Gomez is out for the draw.
Up against Semyonov. Best face-off man for Latvia. It's one over to Kachuk. Back to Schneider. Save Urbe. Got it with a pad, and then he covered it up. 1:58 left.
Keith Kachuk. That took 4 seconds. Keith Kachuk very nearly deflected the shot. The big forward will drive to the net when the passing is going on. There. Just missed it. And Urbe able to hang on once again. See if Gomez can win another.
Semyonov once more. He won it again to Gianta, then on back for a shot by Lyles and spiked loose and rushed ahead by Ozolinch, but given up on a hasty pass. Then Lyles off of Gianta. Lobbed further. Played over to Lyles. Matt Schneider brings it ahead. The hard around, and Urbe got a piece of it. Skipped back on for Gomez. Tried to play it through, could not. Banked across to Nijevs, and his pass was back-checked away by Gomez. Sailed on out to Kachuk, who protects and gives across to Schneider. Schneider with a shot that's knocked down by the defense. Staggering there, but punching it on ahead was Skrastinch. Meanwhile, turning with it is Gianta. Gives back up the wing, Mike Modano. Drive, and that calmly shrugged away by Urbe, and it bounced right around in front. Again at center, it's Schneider. Down to the last minute of the game. Leopold hands it across to Schneider. Mike Modano is out there for Team USA. Ralston ladled it back in. Cole barrels after it. Flung away from Modano's reach by Artur Zerbe. Brought ahead by Pantalea. Gives up the wing now for Sipolis. But that was blocked aside. Oh, and a close play as back ahead comes Ralston. 40 to go. Brian Ralston's pass. Given back to him again, and a shot off the outside of the goal. Herbe got a piece of it with the glove. Ralston once more. 25 seconds to go. Eric Cole moves in. It's turned into him. Bounced on back, and he got it again. The big man turning. Giving on to Hedican. Around in front of backhander Ralston. And a save, Herbe. Played back across to Hedican. 10 to go. On to Cole. Time for another rush. Cole centers. Taken by Jason Blake. Blake to the outside. It's taken away by the Latvian. Played further into traffic. And the horn sounds. And the game ends in a tie.
It's an upset tie, no question about that, with Latvia getting the two big goals quickly in that second period to have the 3-2 lead. Team USA with a goal by Leopold off a face-off win to tie it up in the third, and then Latvia played rope-a-dope, able to hang on. Artur Zerbe was outstanding, no question about it. Even though a couple of the goals that beat him were kind of what he would like to say is, I should have had those ones, but he made a ton of saves. Team USA had about 8 minutes in the second period, Mike, where they lost their focus a little bit, and I think it cost them the win.
In the third period, they outchanced Latvia 15-1, outshot them 19-6. Artur Zerbe made 39 saves, many of them acrobatic, to earn his country a tie with Team USA in the opening game of the 5-game preliminaries by a score of 3-3. We will have interviews when we come back. Olympico 3-3, Latvia and the United States. You play 5 games in the preliminary round.